Thanks, everyone. I want to apologize in advance because I'm sure I'm going to forget to thank some important people. Mark told me I have to keep it under an hour. In order to help that, Mark, if you could bring up my PowerPoint, we'll go through this.
How many slides?
That's lower than normal.
So I got into officiating in 1998. There was an article in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune about this brand new sport of lacrosse that just came to Minnesota, and it said, if you're interested, call this guy Mark Helena. And so I called him and I said, I played in high school in Pennsylvania, and he said, why don't you become an official? And I said, I'll give it a shot. And here I am 28 years later. There was no training back then. They just handed me a rule book and said, figure it out. And so I did my best. I worked hard at it. I was never as good of an official as I wanted to be, and certainly not as good as some of you wanted me to be. I want to thank Mark for getting me into officiating, which was life-changing. And I want to thank all the officials I learned from over the years, but especially Matt Dempsey and Brad Skiback. I learned a ton from them. They were very patient with me as I very slowly realized I did not need to throw a flag for everything that was technically illegal. I also want to thank Matt Ripley and Damon Casina, who have been fantastic colleagues and have been a tremendous help with the goal of improving officiating in Minnesota. I'm a detail person. That can sometimes be a handicap on the field, but it's been incredibly helpful in every other aspect of my work with lacrosse. I estimate, I didn't total up the numbers, I probably could if I tried, but I think I've assigned something like 100,000 games over 20 years of assigning. I especially want to thank everyone at Homegrown Lacrosse, but especially Aaron Lipkin and Jing Peng for their countless hours running leagues and tournaments. They're great for players, but they're also fantastic for developing officials. You have no idea how great it is to be able to assign someone to their first varsity game knowing they've worked 100+ youth and off-season high school games before they see the varsity field. That has been fantastic. Recurring theme in my life is that I get interested in something, become passionate about it, learn all I can, and then want to teach other people about it. It's happened with ocean lifeguarding, ocean rowing, math and statistics, fencing, as Mark mentioned, street dance, and of course lacrosse officiating. With lacrosse, I've taught in-person classes, developed online training and other training materials, wrote tests, participated in the rules development process, observed officials, worked on U.S. lacrosse officials training committees, and I served on the board of the MBSLA and some officials groups with USA Lacrosse, all with the goal of helping develop lacrosse and lacrosse officiating locally and nationally. I hope to continue doing that as long as I can. It's been a lifelong passion, and I'm glad and honored to be able to contribute. However, as an official, we say that every year we're a year older and the players are the same age. I have to be more and more diligent about my off-season run training because we know that our time on the field is limited, and when we can't keep up with the players, we're going to have to drop down to lower levels and eventually retire. Sometimes I'm not sure if my legs are going to give out first or my flag throwing shoulder.
$10 on the shoulder.
Thank you, Billy. My continuing goal is to prepare that next generation of officials to take over when that day comes. If I have a legacy, I hope it is the next generation of officials that we are training and developing. Some of these young men and women have incredible talent and work ethic. I believe that some of these junior officials are going to progress to high school and eventually college, and some of them possibly to pro lacrosse. I look forward to watching those Minnesota lacrosse officials and how Minnesota lacrosse thrives in the future with them taking over the reins. I also want to encourage everyone in this room to consider officiating and or and/or talking to people who you think would make good officials and getting them into the pipeline so we can keep building for the future. I'd like to thank my wife Leslie for putting up with my 120 plus games a year and then staring at the back of my head while I do a signing and build training during the rest of the year. You're very understanding and I love you for it. Finally, I want to thank the selection committee for this honor. The hours spent alone behind a computer building training and assigning officials often feels invisible, so I can't express how deeply appreciative I am of this recognition. Thank you.